Hey, what's up, guys? Covering up that in the video, and today I'm going to do my What If series, What If Naruto Had a Sister, Part 9. And mostly from the previous part there, we seen, in Part 8, we seen Team 7 has got out of the Force of Death there and stuff like that. Mostly, like in the original series, we see Ruka comes out of nowhere and actually was graduating the teams and stuff like that. Naruto was like saying like, yeah, we can finally get some ramen and stuff. So like that all plays out the same until we get to to the uh, the exams there, and mostly in the exams there, Sakura was technically pointing out the curse mark there and stuff like that, and then Naruto was technically saying, yeah, you should let the gentleman look at it and stuff like that. So when mostly, and then he turns around and tells, he calls Naruto, technically Sasuke called Naruto a bitch there, and technically, um, Naruto got pretty pissed off. He's like, hey, that's my sister there, don't call her a bitch. And mostly, Sasuke looks at Naruto and Naruto there, saying, I really, he said, he's like, I really want to take you both on there. And stuff like that. Mostly the um, mostly the teams there finish up the round one has finished up there. So let's go into part. So in that mostly that ends, and mostly of the rounds have finished up there. They have the teams selected there. So going into part 9. So mostly in part 9 there. Mostly all Naruto, technically, Anko takes Naruto, uh, the guy with the glasses takes Naruto there to train, and that's where the what if ends on, or that's where the what if ends in part 8. So here we goes for part 9. So technically, we get to the exam, or the mostly where Naruto was technically run away, like in the original series there, run away from the guy there and stuff like that. He said he has to catch him and stuff. Like in the original series, he catches him, like in the original series there, and he's like, well, let's do the thing there, and he takes him to the hot springs there, and he said, let's walk on water and stuff like that. But Naruto was actually saying, well, we did this stuff before there with the train climbing and stuff like that, and also the walking on water there and stuff like that. So he technically does his walking on water trick there. Naruto does pretty well, like at first there, and then the guy with glasses is like, "Wow, that's amazing! How you learn that and shit like that?" And then he's like, "Well, he's like my Akashi no taught us when we were in the land of waves and stuff." and then out of nowhere there, um, out of nowhere, ha ha ha, and then stuff like that, and then he's like, "My, you're spying on the women there," and then Dry was like, "Keep it down there. You're trying to get us caught there," and stuff like that, and then technically technically knocks Jiraiya, knocks him out there. So Jiraiya comes in the mix there, and Jiraiya knocks him out and stuff like that. And then he's like, "Wait, what the fuck? You hit my teacher and shit." And then he's like, "Who are you?" And then he like technically did his thing like he did in the original series. He did his like little intro there and stuff like that. And then Naruto's like, and stuff like that. He's like, well, later, kid, and stuff. And he's like, Naruto was like, well, you need to teach me and stuff like that. He's like, nah, and stuff. I'm just doing my research and stuff like that. We all know Jiraiya's research. And then he's like, fine. He's like, do it by myself. So technically, we see Naruto technically train there, getting down with the Shadow Shuriken Jutsu there, and he's like, huh. And then technically he was saying, he's like, how the fuck I can actually beat Naruto and stuff like that. And then Jiraiya comes over and says, well, he's like, you're the one who knocks out my teacher. He's like, well, it kind of looks like I saw you training here, so I might just give you like a hand and stuff like that. So he gives him a hand there, and then like technically because he said I kind of knocked out your first teacher and shit. So so that stuff is going to be the same there. Mostly we've seen them train there. We've seen Naruto train. We've seen Sasuke train, and everybody training there and stuff like that, getting ready for the fight. So we go into the round 2 there. So we go into round 2. Mostly in round 2, Naruto and Naruto were technically running late there. When they were technically running late there, Naruto was technically wearing kind of looks like Anko's jacket there, but much smaller there. And then he's like, "Oh, that's a gift from Anko Sensei and shit like that." And then Naruto's like, "Yeah," and stuff like that. Let's do this and stuff. And so, so the match there, they had to wait for Sasuke. People were being impatient, like in the original series. Technically, they're like, "Okay, let's just start up the match there." So, so here goes the first match of the there. First one we got Neji Hyuga versus Shikamaru. So, fight begins there. Technically, Neji did his Tripalm there to try to get Shikamaru there and stuff like that. Technically, Shikamaru did his shadow jutsu there, and tried to do that with with Neji, but doesn't really work because Neji kind of like does his rotation to throw the shadow off. He's like, damn, I can't do this there. And plus, knowing Shikamaru there, he's like, you know what? He solved the rotation there, and he's like, I give up. So technically, Shikamaru technically gave up pretty quick there, and he's like, wait, why are you giving up there? He's like, we didn't barely fight there. That's what Neji was saying. He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't really want to fight with you, Neji. That's what Shikamaru was saying. So the winner is Neji. The next fight there we had Rock Lee versus Konkoro. Technically, so the fight starts there. Technically, Lee was trying to make it more intangible there and stuff like that, and trying to knock him back and stuff. Technically, Konkoro was still using his puppets there and stuff like that. And he's like, you don't have no things there. Lee was trying to use all his best there to get him there, but technically Lee was technically a little bit outmatched there against Konkoro. Konkoro uses like poison needles and stuff like that to distract him and stuff like that from it and stuff like that for it. So yeah, and technically Lee gets floored pretty easily against Konkoro. So the winner is Konkoro. There, stuff like that. So Konkoro wins that one. Next fight we have Hinata Hyuga versus Tamari. Technically, so the fight starts off with there. We see Hinata using her trigram palms there to knock Hinata off her edge there, and mostly when she was technically knocking off her edge. Technically, Tamari can't really use too much against Hinata there because Hinata has her rotation there. Technically, when she did her wind cycle jutsu there, or wind the one with the tornado there, technically Hinata bounces that tornado off, and so she's like, you got that best with the rotation. And then she used her trigram palms there to knock her a little bit more off there. She's like, damn, this girl is more faster than the last one I had. That's what Tamara was saying. And then technically, because of all those tram cram palms, she couldn't move her body around. Hinata did another trigram palm and knocking her flat there too. The winner goes to Hinata right there. So, the next fight there, we had uh, Naruto Uzumaki versus Naruto Uzumaki. So yeah, so in the series, and before the match starts, there, technically, Naruto was actually saying, "You're ready, little brother." There, so she was like, "You're ready, little brother." There, and he's like, "Don't call me little." And so Naruto was saying, "You're not," and she's like, "I'm still the oldest," and stuff. So the fight starts off with both of them using Shadow Shuriken Jutsu. There, it was hitting back and forth and stuff like that. Technically, 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 Naruto actually learns the shadow striking snake. There, she learns that there, and she's like, "Whoa!" He's like, "How the heck you got that, sis?" and stuff like that. And then she's like, "I learned that from Anko Sensei, how to use the there and stuff like that." So she used the shadow striking jutsu there to actually bounce the snakes off and stuff. Naruto was like, "Oh crap!" and stuff like that. So he was technically getting Naruto was technically getting pushed over by Naruto at first there, and then technically Naruto actually did her summoning jutsu there and actually summoned a snake there. Technically, she summoned a snake there, and I'm just gonna call the snake uh, Connie there. So Connie was the snake. So technically, she wraps up. Connie wraps up Naruto there. And she's like, "Oh," she's like, "I know that," and Naruto's like, "Yeah, I know that's not a clone there and stuff like that." So Naruto's like, "Oh fucking shit." And then she's like, "Give up, Naruto." She's like, "I don't want to crush all of your bones and stuff." That's what Naruto was saying and stuff like that too. What Naruto was like, "Ah, shit," and stuff like that. And then technically, he's like, and then Naruto's like, "Good job, Connie." And she's like, "Thank you, Lady Naruto," and stuff like that. So, yeah. So Naruto, he activates the Chief Toad there, and she's like, "Oh," and then Naruto's like, "Wow, he got the Toad summoning and stuff like that." So technically, Naruto was like doing there, and then the Chief's like, "All right, what the fuck and shit." So technically, he did he did multiple clones there, and all like 100 like chiefs fall on top of Naruto and stuff like that, and then technically, and then Naruto was like, "Give up, Naruto," and she's like, he's like, "You're outmatched," and stuff, and she's like, "Okay, I give up." So, so Naruto just gives up there, and the winner is Naruto. um, so in the next fight there, we get to the final fight there. We get to Sasuke Uchiha versus Gaara. Still same at where they technically ran late and stuff like that. When they ran late and stuff, it's still the same from the original part. So technically, Sasuke goes into a stance there and stuff like that, and he shows up late and stuff. They let him fight like in the original series. Technically, Sasuke was technically struggling against Gaara there. He uses a Sharingan there to see where it is and stuff like that. Sasuke jumps on the wall like in the original series, and then he uses Chidori. Naruto and Naruto are like, "Whoa, what is that thing there?" And then Akashi was like explaining what the Achori was, and like in the original story. And then Sasuke hits him like the same before he hits him there, and he's like, "My blood," or Gaara's like, "My blood," there, and stuff like that. Like he screams and stuff like that. Then, like in the original story, there, the stadium went silent there. Technically, the stadium went silent there and stuff like that. Technically, everyone was technically kind of Genjutsu, including Naruto there, but Naruto, Sakura, and Hinata knows how to get around the get around the fucking the genjutsu there, mostly get around the genjutsu there and stuff like that, and then they're like Akashi, and then we see the Sound Ninja and the Sand Ninja attack like in the original series there. The Orochimaru there is gonna technically gonna take on the Third Hokage there. Well, technically the Hokage is gonna take on Orochimaru there, like in the original series, and then technically Sasuke doesn't, like in the original series, like leaves and chase after Gaara and stuff like that. And then technically, he told, he's like you three need to wake up Naruto and Shikamaru there. He was telling Naruto, and Hinata there to go after Sasuke there and stuff like that. So, yeah. So when that was going on with that stuff there, what's happening like in the chase and stuff like that, he's like, you guys need to wake him. You guys need to wake him up and stuff, and we go after him. So, and that's where the what if ends there in part 9. So mostly in part 10 there, we're gonna get to the next part there. We're gonna get to where they're where they try to, when Gaara technically turns into the One Tails there, are going into the One Tails there. So that's gonna be in the next what if there. So yep. Comment, rate, and responsive to this. Remember this. We like putting our videos. Please subscribe. Hit notifications on our uploads. Comment, responsive to this. We like coming out. Now, peace.